Hi, I'm Meg from Tokyo. Have you ever gotten into trouble when traveling abroad? In this video, I'm gonna show you 10 things you should definitely know before coming to Japan. I will share information in a Q&A style about how to resolve any travel troubles from the Japanese perspective. I have also started a Facebook group where you can easily share the latest information and any issues that occurred during your trip to Japan, so please feel free to follow me. Okay then, let's go! Question: what if I want to return the thing I bought because it was defective? In Japan, exchanges and returns of merchandise are generally not handled without a receipt. Additionally, exchanges and returns are only available for defective products, and few stores accept returns for personal reasons such as not liking the product or it being different from the image. Regarding the time limit for exchanges and returns, it is common for stores to allow 1 to 2 weeks from the time of purchase. How about in your country? Please let me know in the comment section. I have asked for returns several times in Japan, and I actually took the defective product and the receipt, explaining the legitimate reason. As for measurements you can take to prepare for returns: 1. Do not immediately discard the receipt. Keep it. 2. Open and use the product as soon as possible after purchase to ensure it is not defective. 3. In most cases, returns for personal reasons are not possible, so think carefully before making a purchase. Keep these in mind when shopping. What I have just described is a general practice in Japan, and there are also stores and products that do not support returns in the first place. I've never checked, but if you're really concerned, check with the store staff in advance to find out the conditions under which you can return the item before making a purchase. Question: I don't understand that the store limits each person to purchasing just one bottle. For example, some popular products have limits on the number of bottles that can be purchased per person. Especially in recent years, the number of resellers has been rapidly increasing, and some stores have imposed limits on the number of bottles per person to deter reselling. This is just my perception, but I believe that in Japan there is a spirit of equality aiming to ensure that products are accessible to as many people as possible. Therefore, selling popular items in unlimited quantities can lead to customer complaints, so stores tend to restrict the number of items each person can buy. Of course, there may be similar cases where you live, just as in Japan, where there are restrictions on the number of items one can purchase. If you plan to buy a large quantity of the same item, I think you should ask with the store in advance. You might need to use a translation tool if they only speak Japanese. Keep in mind that you cannot always get everything you want, you must follow the store's rules. Question: I was warned not to take a drink before paying the bill. While I often hear stories of people in other countries opening items before checkout to eat or drink them, this should never be done in Japan. In the worst case scenario, you could even be arrested for theft if you open an item before the check is paid. In Japan, it is not acceptable to think since I tend to pay for it later, there is no problem if I open the merchandise before the checkout. Even if the waiter does not point this out to you, other customers around you may consider it theft and report it to the police. But since there are more cases of paying after eating at restaurants, they are treated differently from grocery stores and convenience stores. Please be careful not to unconsciously commit the crime act. Question: what if I was charged for food I didn't order? I saw in YouTube comments that some people get confused when food is brought to them that they didn't order. Generally, this is called otoshi and is a service mainly employed in izakaya, which is Japanese-style pubs. Small dishes that have not been ordered are randomly served at the beginning of the meal. The table charge typically amounts to about 300 to 500 Japanese yen. Most restaurants or izakaya do not explain otoshi because local Japanese people already know about it. I believe that otoshi and tips are similar in nature in that you cannot really refuse when someone brings you food. Apart from izakaya, many other upscale restaurants also impose a similar fee. If you're concerned because a dish you didn't order is brought to you, you can ask the staff, "Is this an otoshi?" or you can say in Japanese, "Kore wa otoshi desu ka?" to make it clear. Question: what if I was told I have to order at least one drink? In most izakaya, you are generally required to order at least one drink such as sake or a soft drink. Torikizoku, a famous yakitori izakaya chain that I really love, is known for not charging otoshi or even requiring customers to order a mandatory drink, but such izakayas are quite rare. Even if you only want to drink water, many Japanese izakayas offer water for free. Regardless of the reason, you will need to order some kind of drink other than water. And while upscale restaurants have mineral water, few izakayas have it. As you imagine, many high-end restaurants in Japan do not exactly state a one-drink policy. Not ordering a drink is often seen as impolite and not very wise. The reason for this is that they are not attempting to make a significant profit from the food and the prices are comparatively low. They tend to set the drink prices slightly higher to compensate and secure the necessary profit. Whether or not to settle for free water is an issue that often divides opinions in Japan as well. As a side note, many upscale restaurants also offer mineral water for a fee in Japan. Unfortunately, I don't have many opportunities to go to fancy restaurants, but when I do, I always order a drink. Keep in mind that you will often be asked to order a drink at both izakayas and high-class restaurants. Question: what if I was taken to a bar and charged a lot of money? As I mentioned in my previous video, there are many scams targeting foreigners in the restaurants districts of Shinjuku Kabukicho, Roppongi, Shibuya, and other areas. These scams have been well known in Japan for some time. They target customers on the street. They typically offer what appears to be a reasonable deal, saying 2,000 yen for all you can drink, but they may pressure customers to consume high alcohol drinks and charge exorbitant prices that customers won't remember. There are even worse scams that make high-value payments using your credit card without your permission. To prevent this kind of damage, never follow touts when they approach you on the street. Question: why I was charged extra for what I thought was all you can drink? The all you can drink style often seen at izakaya involves choosing your drinks from a special menu prepared in advance and ordering them from the staff. However, if you order a drink that is not on the menu, you will be charged an additional fee. In general, all you can drink, which we call Nomihodai, does not necessarily include all drinks available at the restaurant in the price. If you order a drink that is not on the exclusive menu, the restaurant staff will probably ask you to pay extra for it. If you're still concerned, please check with the staff in advance to see if any drinks include an additional charge. Question: why can't I make a phone call on the train? I've heard that in many European countries there is a distinction between quiet coaches and regular trains. In Japan, it is considered good manners to refrain from talking on any train. In fact, announcements are made to remind passengers to keep quiet on the train. You may know that YouTuber Johnny Somali was arrested for causing a nuisance on a train the other day. If you talk on the phone or play loud music unintentionally on the train, your fellow passengers may consider you a nuisance. Japan has many rules and manners even if they are not against the law, and I personally find some of them a bit troublesome. It's more important for everyone to have a peaceful train ride. Let me share my experience of Japan since birth. I've received many phone calls on the train in my life, but I answer quietly with a brief call. I inform the caller right away that I'm on the train and ask if they can message me instead. Since trains are not just for you, let's avoid talking loudly or on the phone. Question: does Japan's public transportation system operate all night? I heard an experience from travelers like this. After enjoying a night out, both trains and buses were not running. What should I do? Unfortunately, in Japan, trains, buses, and other public transportation systems do not operate all day. Even in cities such as Tokyo and Osaka, transportation stops around midnight. In rural areas, they stop even earlier. If you plan to use a Japan Rail Pass or other means of transportation to tour the countryside, be sure to check the last train and bus times. I recommend using the Navitime Japan application to check the schedules. Please check the description below. Taxis are available all night as an alternative to trains and buses, but in rural areas, finding a taxi may not be possible at night. Additionally, late-night fares apply and you will have to pay a higher rate than usual. When enjoying the nightlife, make sure to plan in advance how you will return to your accommodations. Check with Navitime Japan application or ask the station staff. Question: what if the cost of treatment including the drugs and the prescriptions was pretty much higher than expected? For tourists visiting Japan, the Japanese public medical insurance system does not apply, so the cost of treatment can be high. Additionally, if the medical institution arranges for or uses an interpreter, the cost of those services will be added. This is not just Japan, but is common knowledge for travelers. It's essential for foreigners visiting Japan to purchase overseas travel insurance to prepare for potentially expensive medical bills. In an actual case, a tourist from Thailand who came to Japan suddenly collapsed from a heart ailment and was surprisingly charged 18 million yen, or about $12,000 for surgery and other medical expenses. Personally, I always take out travel insurance every time I travel abroad. Some credit cards may also include travel insurance, so it's important to check if your credit card offers such coverage. But please keep in mind that travel insurance attached to credit cards often has a low coverage limit, so be sure to check it if it covers you in the event of a serious illness or injury. It's important to prepare for the worst case scenario. How was the 10 tips? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. Please share your thoughts and ideas in the comment section. If you have any more questions about traveling to Japan, please join the Facebook group I mentioned at the beginning and post your question. Let's share the latest updates about Japan travel. See you at the next video!